Oh, wait. Oh, hey now. Tuperas y tuperas, today on DOOP by the River. I really can't believe I'm saying this, but welcome to the Eastern Conference final version of DOOP by the River. We're going to discuss the win against Nashville SC on Sunday afternoon. And of course, we're going to look ahead at the Eastern Conference Finals as your Philadelphia Union will in fact host NYCFC at Subaru Park this upcoming Sunday. And don't you dare go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because you do not want to miss this episode of the Eastern Conference Final preview. Let's get this started, guys. Dale! And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to DOOP by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union. And, of course, we are brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Before we dive into this historic episode of DOOP by the River, guys, do us the solid. If you're watching this live, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for every episode of DOOP by the River live. And, of course, if you are more of a podcaster, you like to listen to the podcast, we have that covered for you. We are on PSN Radio. You can find it wherever you stream podcasts, and you can find all of your favorite Philly Sports Network podcasts on there. We're on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Make sure you guys subscribe for all of your DOOP by the River episodes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce to you now our experts in duping who are equally as excited as I am that we got Eastern Conference Finals here, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, let me start off with our honorary psychic now, Mr. Tim Lovinguth. What's up, Timmy? How you feeling today?
I'm apparently psychic. No, I mean, Tuesday. I still haven't gotten over Tuesday of when we watched New York City and New England live, and how I was saying I just want Tati Castellanos to score a late goal and then get a second yellow, and then that's what happened. So I mean, hey, I'll take it.
Absolutely. We're all going to take that for sure. Not your average call, not a problem. Seriously, thank you so much for tuning on in, my man. And listen, we got a team in Philadelphia making us all proud. So dupe on, my brother, dupe on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on now to my man, Mr. Zach Labasso. I'm sure he's got the piping hot takes here tonight. Zach, what's up, man?
Always. Nothing much, just hanging out. Ready to talk about how the Union are going to beat NYCFC, even though they scare me quite a bit. I'm not going to lie. Even without Castellanos, I think they're a very, very good team, as you saw on Tuesday night. But, yeah, I'm excited.
As Meek Mill once said, scared money don't make no money. We can't play scared, Zach. We can't play scared.
No, you can't play scared, but I can watch scared.
I think we all are.
That's totally different.
It's life of a Union fan, the life of a Union fan. And then, of course, I literally can't read his name without having a straight face. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Justin. He has tickets for Sunday. Right. What's up, Justin?
Like I said, you knew I was gonna come with something good, and I gotta come with the subject of one of many Twitter war zones that was going on today throughout Union and NYCFC Twitter. But listen, I am ready to talk about what an exciting atmosphere Sunday was, and what an exciting atmosphere Sunday will be when we advance to the MLS Cup final at home against RSL.
And host, yes.
And I'm talking into existence. We are playing on December 11th at home at the Sud. It will be rocking.
I got to get some RSL gear, honestly, for Saturday. I got to get some, just real quick, and then I'll burn it. And then
just get a Bobby Wood Hamburg jersey, and that'll be
yeah. I'm sure I can get that. I'm sure I can get that here real quick.
Yeah, that'll be like that.
Oh, green screen it on.
Just go to Justin's closet. I'm sure he's got it.
Yeah, he's got one.
I do not have a Hamburg kit, nor do I have.
You better not. I'm just kidding.
Unfortunately, that is not in my repertoire.
It's all good. Well, guys, let's start off with this pod. I just wanted to put away a rumor that we heard obviously yesterday, but I think we have to do our due diligence to kind of talk about it. But if you guys did not hear, the rumor that came out was apparently Cincinnati was ready to offer Jim Curtin, number one, buy him out of his contract and bring him over to Cincinnati to be their next manager. Obviously, we know Chris Albright's over there. He's trying to change things up over Cincinnati. It is clear he's trying to do it the Union way. So what better than to get the manager of the Union, right? I'm going to just start off by saying this is I don't believe it whatsoever. I believe Chris is called, Jimmy, but I believe Jimmy, being a Philly boy, he's fully committed to the team. And if he's going to leave, guys, it's going to be to Europe, right? It only has to be.
Yeah. I mean, unless Cincinnati's coming with like tons of money. Like,
who's the highest paid coach in the MLS right now? Do we know?
I would assume Bruce.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, yeah, they would have to offer like a boatload of money to Jim.
So much money.
And then also to the Union, because the Union aren't going to let a coach under contract walk. It's literally
they would just have to buy it out for probably double. Like, they would probably have to pay double what he's still owed, and then also pay him tons.
Language in Jim's contract, there is no buyout clause. They're literally just offering Jim. They're just offering the money to the team and hoping that they would essentially
and hoping that the team would be like, we don't need our coach anymore.
Yeah, easy. And we want to play against them twice a season.
Because the contracts are with the league, not necessarily solely with the team, because single entity, yay, all that,
BS
crap. But listen, it's laughable. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand Chris Albright doing his
due diligence. Due diligence.
Formality, asking Jim. And of course, I'm sure Jim probably chuckled and said, "Hey, Chris, I know what you're going to be asking.
I appreciate it." But...
I appreciate it. However, I'm going to decline and focus on the Eastern Conference final.
Exactly.
I just think and in reality, I'm sure he probably also said, "Hey, can I also talk to Pat?" Because it wouldn't surprise me.
That's what I'm confused.
Pat Noonan
about.
Is considered
that's what I'm confused about. Pat Noonan should be the next head coach in MLS, just based on what he's been able to do with Jim. Like, if you look at the games, Noonan and Jim are on the sideline together discussing tactics and everything else. Like, it's not the whole coaching staff; it's pretty much Pat Noonan as the second-hand guy right there. So, like, why not go coach Cincinnati next year? But that's next.
But do we also think that if the Union do win, Jim goes on and then Pat just moves up?
I don't think Jim would move on in MLS. I think
no. I don't mean MLS. I mean
maybe
he said he wants over there.
He said
Coach
his
his
ambition is to get to Europe at some point in his career. So if he wins MLS Cup and wants to go, if he wins Supporter Shield and MLS Cup in back-to-back years, and then says, "Nah, now's the time for me to go to Europe."
He's in the ring too. He's in the ring too.
Yeah.
You guys are really gonna make me cry. We were talking about Ali's retirement on Tuesday. You can tell me Jim's gonna leave for Europe. Man, I'm gonna be an emotional mess if we do.
The stars are all aligning for like Ali's on his way out.
Oh no.
Jim wants to go to Europe. The Union are gonna win the cup, and then they can all leave on the highest note possible. Like, that's how.
That's true.
That's what I see.
But this isn't college for all my college football fans. This isn't Lincoln Riley. This isn't Brian Kelly. Jimmy's not walking away to Cincinnati. So I have full confidence that Jimmy's going to stay. But let's talk about his team's performance on Sunday afternoon. Of course, the Union beat Nashville SC in an absolute nerve-wracking game. They haven't made anything easy in the playoffs, but they've gotten the job done. Extra times, like it was literally like deja vu. But obviously, we had the penalty shootout. But in the game, right? So the Union started off really well, right? They had some nice opportunities. They were pouncing. I don't know if you guys heard of course, I love the Alejandro Bedoya, like the pregame huddle. Yes. They have the video. Dude, those get me so amped up. I'm ready to run through a freaking wall watching those things, man. And then in the 38, after the Union had some great opportunities, Nashville started getting it going. The Union fans got Mukhtar going as well. And he gets a goal. We could talk about how that goal happened. I thought he did a good job of disguising himself a little bit behind CJ Sapong, and of course Alvis Powell. He likes Buddy, but he got a nice hit on the ball with his head, 1-0, and then literally right before halftime,
the last kick,
Gazdak with a little scissor. We got the confirmation on Tuesday, a little scissor, and it went by Willis, and it was a 1-1 game going into halftime. Second half, no goals. Extra time, no
One goal.
goals.
Wait. 1 goal.
What do you mean?
Gazdag did score, and
In
it should
second
have
goal.
counted.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
right.
know.
Okay.
I don't know about
No.
that one.
I
Watching
think
the
that's a goal.
replays, watching the
I think
replays,
that's a goal for
Yeah,
sure.
It's
know.
whether or not believe Sergio fouled or not.
I think.
Oh no,
Sergio
I think that the keeper just absolutely missed the ball and
Yeah, he
fell
missed-
into
he
Sergio,
Sergio.
judged
but
that,
Sergio
and
also
then-
ran into the keeper.
But he's just
Yeah, but-
standing. What is he supposed to do?
Tim,
throw
it's-
himself the other way. I don't care.
Yeah, but he doesn't know he's gonna miss it.
Zach,
Like,
what would you do if you're Sergio?
I would have done the same thing. I'm
That's
standing there waiting for the ball to come to me.
And I'm
What do you
sorry,
want me
but
to
if
do?
you're Joe Willis, you gotta be more commanding in your box. He did not look like he had full confidence in that, and then he got bailed out by the ref.
He missed that ball so bad, so bad.
All right, but then we had obviously the penalty shootout, and all of us were a nervous wreck. I mean, obviously, if you're a Union fan since day one, when you hear a penalty shootout in a tournament-like situation, you want to run away. I completely understood all you guys.
I was
But-
excited.
Yeah, of course you were, Zach. Why wouldn't you be?
I love pens.
But then what happened? I still can't believe. Jack Elliott goes up, makes his,
Smashed it.
Slots that thing.
dude, and then Mukhtar goes up. I could have sworn he was going to make that.
Horrible
I-
pen.
Yeah,
Horrible.
he didn't hit it very
That
well at
was
all.
not a well taken penalty.
And Andre guessed the right side as well. And
Yeah.
after
Nothing
that,
but thing.
I felt a little bit better. I don't know about you guys, but I felt a little bit more comfortable seeing that Andre stopped their best goal scorer, and I felt a little bit better. Obviously, we saw Sergio go up next. We could talk about the decision there, but he misses, of course. And then Godoy goes up. Andre picks the right one again. Jack McGlynn, the youngster, the 18-year-old from Scranton, goes up, ice in his veins, makes Wills pick the wrong side, and he gets the second goal. Mule goes up, misses, and then why am I blank? Walker Zimmerman absolutely skyrockets it. I would not have expected that to happen whatsoever, and an impressive performance by the Union. We walk away with the win in the shootout, 2-0. Oh my God. I'm reliving it now, guys. I still cannot believe what exactly happened. Guys, let's get to our thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Justin, you can start here, my man. Dude, your takeaway from Sunday afternoon or Sunday night.
This team is mostly a complete team. And I say mostly because we all know the glaring Polish striker like hole up top of this Christmas tree, which honestly in the playoffs has actually been, I think, the right idea.
Yeah.
At least to start the games. I'm okay with it, and I think that will be the formation against NYCFC. It's worked before against them. But listen, your defense, outside of a brief lapse in coverage, Flock not closing out, Alves not closing out on the backside for Mukhtar, your defense played perfect. Andre really did not have a ton to do, outside of a couple small saves. Nothing really too crazy. And I will say your midfield, and again, another spectacular performance from Daniel Gazdag, because I mean he was running this game. He was bringing the ball up with some great passes. The one in particular, which I still can't believe he missed it, was Gazdag taking that ball up and feeding a perfect ball to Sergio. And Sergio, whatever is going on in his head, man has to just stand in front of the net and just from 5 yards away, just shoot at all angles to like get out of this funk. I do not know what's going on. I really hope he works through it. But like the thing about Gazdag, and it's what I've been saying, I said it way before the season, way before Club America. I've been saying it most of the season. He is the 10 you need. It just is going to take a little bit of time. He's a mid-season signing. And he is, since the Club America game, has just ramped up another level and is becoming that 10 that we absolutely need.
It's Gazdag's season.
We still need a damn striker. But,
Oh yeah,
Preach.
but your defense and your midfield played absolutely perfectly. A perfectly executed game, shutting down Mukhtar, which I said this team, for as solid defensive as they were, their attack relied solely on him.
Mm-hmm.
You shut him down, their attack is dead. CJ does not get service, and they were relying on crosses. And outside of that one cross to Mukhtar, the Union have done a fairly good job of shutting down crosses when you have two fairly large center backs and a goalie in Andre that knows how to, read the crosses pretty well and pluck a few balls out of the air. But yeah, those PKs, I mean,
insane.
Mukhtar's was just very poorly taken, well saved by Andre. The Anibal Godoy one, now that one had some pace on it, and that one was going inside the post. So that was, first of all, we know Andre's reach. He's got an insane wingspan.
Hell yeah.
And that guy was perfect. So at that point, 2 saves in, that had to mess with Nashville's head.
Yes, sir.
And of course, I love that Alex Mule was, of all people, the former Red Bull player. Was like, you could tell he was trying to put it in the top right corner.
Mm-hmm.
Andre guessed it, but he also put it right of the net, and it just sailed.
Justin almost caught that.
And then Walker Zimmerman, that one was just, no one was at least trying to maybe place it. Zimmerman just went in, didn't skip leg day and blasted it into, I'm pretty sure it's someone's still trying to fish it out of the Delaware. But honestly, this was the game, as nerve-wracking as it was, this was another complete game from the Union. This is for the little respect that the Union are getting this entire playoffs. This is exactly the type of situation, one-off games, that the Union can grind out. And the difference between the Union and Nashville. Nashville, there's a reason that they had a league tying record of 18 draws. They know how to grind out results. They don't know how to grind out beyond that. They do not have that clinical finisher besides Mukhtar. I love CJ, but CJ absolutely requires service. Nashville did not have another killer in the midfield. That would allow Leal really was non-existent, and he was being shadowed by Elliott or Glesnes, and really had one very weak shot that Andre was easily able to smother. So I think the way the Union defense is playing, it brings me with a lot of confidence and helps me to kind of overlook the fact that our strikers are literally non-existent when the rest of our team is playing well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I agree with you, man. Real quick, I wanted to thank Raphael. It was a pleasure having you on, my man. Anytime, my man. Anytime. Thank you so much to Raphael. Zach, did you want to add anything onto that, my man?
Yeah. Do you think we could sign CJ, just real quick? Their season's done. Can we just bring him over for the rest of the playoffs?
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, I wish it was, because that would be great. Because I don't think I've ever seen a forward put in a worse, not even like Casper didn't play bad because he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything good, and he didn't do anything bad because he didn't do anything. I think he held hands with the center backs the entire match and was just sitting in between them, waiting to get the ball to his feet, which he would then lose if he did. I think he lost pretty much every header except for one to Walker Zimmerman. So that part sucks. I mean, in general, I don't think the Union played great. Besides, like you guys were saying, the first 25 minutes. And Ali should have scored 3 minutes into the match. Yeah. And he passed it to Casper. I'm like, Ali, no. I'd rather you shoot than pass it to Casper ever. Okay. So just for future reference. Brujo really pissed me off on Sunday.
Would you believe that? It's so funny. I thought about you, Zach, because what was that podcast? The MLS MLS Gone. I think it's MLS Gone Wild. I'll have to double check. But they had El Brujo into their playoff all 11. I was like, oh, yeah.
What's crazy is his pass. I'll give him this. His passing was probably besides Gazdag and McGlynn, his passing was probably the best on the team on the day. but I was extremely confused as to what he was trying to do defensively. Like, he wasn't marking anyone.
That's what he does.
Like, he wasn't marking anyone. And when a team plays with a 10, usually the defensive midfielder just, sits on the 10. But that was not the case. He also, when we had the ball, just kept running to each of our center backs, trying to get the ball from them. And I'm like, I'd rather have one of our center backs pass the ball than you. And then at one point, he was next to Glesnes. Mukhtar picks up the ball, and Brujo just watches him sprint towards the box. And Glesnes has to sprint all the way over.
Oh, yeah.
And Mukhtar has a shot, and it went. Luckily, it went right to Blake because Glesnes got over there and was right next to him. But I'm thinking, like, what? It gave me New England 2019 vibes.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
or 2020, whatever year, whatever year. We
I know
lost
what you mean. I know.
Yeah, whatever year we lost to New England. But and when he got subbed at halftime, like he got subbed at halftime of that New England game because he was so bad. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh my God, this guy's just going to cost us the game. Luckily, like he didn't. And Powell just, had a little Bizo moment. So it happens, you know, miss our runner, it happens every once in a while. Can't happen again. But I mean, all in all, like Justin was saying, like we grinded out the win. Like it is what it is. Like I can be as upset as I want, but if we come away with the win at the end, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
It's just my blood pressure for the entire 90 minutes because I'm pissed off at players is going to be through the roof.
And that's the thing, Zach. Like, Casper can be sucking up all these one. If the Union win, we'll be talking about it.
Yeah,
but it'll be tolerable.
Yeah, because they won. Now, if they lose and Casper does nothing, I will rip his head off.
You're not gonna be the only one, man. You're not gonna be the only one.
He'll score. He's gonna score a hat trick. One of these next two games, he's gonna score a hat trick, and then I'm gonna be like, please sell him, because his stock will be super high.
That'll be tough there. Jared has a message for all of us: be loud for me, boys.
Yeah, Jared.
I'll try and lose my voice, Jared. I will try.
It sucks what happened, man. Hope you feel better, and we'll definitely be loud for you.
Yes.
Absolutely, Jared. Absolutely, my man. Extra Time Podcast at Union are top 3 team in the MLS. Look at that. We're getting some respect.
I mean, they're one of the final 4, so they kind of have to be, right?
Yeah. So what are they saying? Are they saying we're 3?
They only say that now. It's the one time they talk about the Union, like all playoffs. Like,
is that what they're saying? I mean, but
we're probably number 3 of the top. But
realistically, right? Like to say that they we don't have any players worth really talking about besides Andre. You know what I mean? Like in this, I go back to like the best
kids.
11 of the best 11 of the year. Like Turner was always going to get it. I don't think anyone else on the Union deserved to be in that best 11.
I'm sorry.
No.
Elliot or Glesnes over Miles Robinson.
No, Miles Robinson had a hell of a year for
Dude,
it's a popularity contest. That's what it is.
You had what? Three Seattle players, 3 I get the New England players. Tejan had a baller year.
Tejan's so good.
So did Carlos Hill, Matt Turner, but like Yaimar Gomez on the side, I'm sorry.
He had a pretty good year. I mean,
I don't think besides the center backs, if you want to give one of the center backs a nod, but realistically, the Union aren't that because Jim always says it. We don't have the top guys. We just win as a team, which is true. And it sucks because I wish we had at least one of the guys, just one.
You have the Union, especially in the last few years, have been a good collective unit.
Yeah,
you can have those star players, but if they don't mesh well together, a la Ibra, it's great to have that name recognition, but sometimes it's better just to have a bunch of good players, nothing star caliber, but enough good players that work well together, because team chemistry gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tim, any takeaways from Sunday?
I mean, you guys pretty much covered them all. But I'll say, for some reason, when we went to PKs, I was the most content I've been with the Union all season, and it doesn't make any sense. I should have been a ball of nerves, but I was like, whatever happens at this point happens. I didn't really realistically think that they would get past this round. And the fact that it went to penalties, and then when Andre saves the first one, I actually was like, okay, we're good now. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah. No, that was how I felt, Tim.
But then watching NYC and New England 2 nights ago with you guys, I was like, this is how I should have felt on Sunday. Like,
Yeah,
that was
no,
ridiculous.
actually,
Like, I was so much more nervous for NYC's penalties than the Union's, which was funny. But no, like,
Yeah.
it was an amazing game still. Like, the fact that they were able to go 120 minutes against Nashville, only allow Mukhtar the one chance, which he scores.
Yes, sir.
And then, yeah, like, grinding it out. Like, that's what this team does. That's what they've done all year. And it's what they're going to have to do against New York City, even without Tati Castellanos up there for them. So
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, do they for the Pens? Do they flip for which side?
I think so.
think
Yeah.
so.
So we got very lucky.
You either pick going first or the
Okay,
side you want.
I would always
Yeah.
pick.
So
like,
the Union, if you're the home team, you always want.
yeah,
to
for
pick in
sure.
front
Now,
of your supporters.
realistically,
Like,
I want to go first.
literally,
like,
that's
always.
Yeah.
That's the biggest advantage you can get is putting them in front of your supporters section.
Yeah, realistically, you want to go first, but like, yeah, if you can get in front of the supporter section, you're doing that.
As Raul is saying here.
Yeah,
Union fans made
exactly.
the goal net smaller for Nashville during the penalty kicks. Home field
Hey,
advantage,
man.
baby.
That's
Yeah.
that's that mindset, man. They peered deep. Andre peered deep into their souls.
Yeah, as he
And they did
squatted
not
down.
like what they saw.
He almost got a yellow card. He almost got a yellow. Did you guys see that?
No, the funny thing was he did enough for the ref to make him go back, but not enough to warrant a card. Like he just kind of stood there and Chapman like pointed back, and then Andre went back. Like he didn't.
But at one point, he did have his hand in his pocket. He did put his hand in his pocket and was like, "I'm going to give you one."
But it's like, it's typical Shithauser. Like,
of course, no, I concur. It was just funny because I was like, "Oh man, Andre might actually get a yellow."
Andre had done what I saw in a Bundesliga game, where the goalie kind of just stood to the right of the penalty spot and twirled with his cleat in a circle to loose the dirt, and then the player slipped and missed. I mean, Nashville did that on themselves, but like it would have been just funny to do, like the level of Shithauser. And Andre said like he was just in a zone, like
he talked about it that moment,
everything out, like
he's flowing. He was in his flow.
Even with the interview, like it was still like he was still coming out of that zone, like he was still in that, like
he was probably just like
literally in the interview, Julian Stakovich was interviewing him after the game, and like. He like seemed so distracted because he was still like trying to process. We just won that game, and I made 2 big saves. Like it was like
I love what he said in that interview. He's like, yeah, when I like because she asked him about like why he was crouching before the shots, and he's like, it's my last chance to like look at the ball before I make my decision. And I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. Like this guy is like at another level right now.
Justin's taking notes.
Justin's like, all right, gotta crouch every pen.
Gotta be 6'2".
Massive hops.
Yeah, like there's a few things that I might need to change about myself.
No, Justin, it's all in the squat. It's all in the squat.
It's all in the squat and staring into the soul of the ball. And when you connect
not
with
the soul,
you will get it.
And then you stand up and then you stare into the soul of the player. And then it's just a circular energy.
Doopsburg here with a good point. Our strikers in bad. Well, this is pretty funny actually. Our strikers in bad form from the new iteration of That's So Union.
I mean,
hopefully not for long. Hopefully not next year.
And
one has to go in, right? Like,
what'd you get? What'd you go for Rui Diaz? I mean, apparently,
yes.
Let me talk about a Rui Diaz type striker. Well, Rui Diaz might be available.
Yeah, Nate. While I agree, Sergio, like in front of goal was really bad. He did more in his limited time on the field than Casper has done the past 2 games combined. Yeah. Like he just getting down the wing and crossing balls in is more than Casper could ever hope and dream to do.
All right, well, gentlemen, listen, that was fun. Did you guys have fun on Sunday?
Yeah, so much fun. Yeah. I'm gonna have even more fun this Sunday.
Well, exactly.
I would say a blasty blast.
Well, exactly. Because now, guys, it's the real deal. Eastern Conference Finals
for a trophy.
For a trophy. Shield Conference Finals. It's going to be exciting. Of course, as everyone knows, we're going to be hosting NYCFC this upcoming Sunday. And guys, look, you guys know us. We try to get you guys the perspective of the other side. And what better to bring on a returning guest today for this preview of NYCFC. Ladies and gentlemen, fresh from England, please welcome The Cooligans!
Yo,
It is
1:30 a.m. We slept
Y'all
2
shut
hours.
Yo,
Why are we on this?
I don't know.
okay, Alexis is here to complain. I'm here to gloat and boast.
Because
And
why are we going to talk to people who are a fan of a team we're going to beat in the MLS playoffs?
it's
Oh.
really, we're doing them a favor.
We're gonna go on the Revs podcast.
I mean, listen,
What's up, guys?
When Johnny
happening,
said,
baby?
"Oh yeah, Christian's gonna be on. He's in England," I'm like, "You must have had a typo. It must be New England,
Yo,
right?"
no. These
Cooligans
two,
going global.
yo, these 2 credit card miles, yo, that's crazy right now. We go from New York to New England or Boston, whatever Foxborough will call it, to
how does
England.
Gully Bucks translate to credit card miles? How's that
Into
work,
sleep
guys?
deprivation.
Bruh.
And airline miles.
Just want to let everybody in Philadelphia know we're in serious debt. We have real problems. We need to win this game on Sunday. It's just really a lot is
Spend
riding
money
on it.
now. Spend money now. Well, I do have to ask, guys. From my understanding, it's not the World Tour; it's the Cooligans Tour. You guys are gonna be there for the Cooligans, the Cooligan Derby this year.
Yeah.
That's right. Everton is taking on Arsenal. We're gonna watch it on Monday, and we had this planned. It was like a big surprise. Let's go.
I get to be there for Rafa's last game, which is so dope.
Or Arteta's last game after that
Oh,
performance today.
I mean, we believe in our managers. We're not our managers aren't leaving us for Real Madrid.
I mean, who's calling Arteta to manager?
Guardiola to be like, what should I do? That's what. Remember,
Anyway.
buddy.
Yeah, we are watching Everton Arsenal. We were supposed to see it in the summer, and it didn't happen in the preseason. Arsenal couldn't make it.
At first the Delta variant, and now the Omicron variant almost stopped this one.
Okay,
God damn it.
So yeah,
Yo, COVID hates the Cooligans. COVID is a fan of it.
You gotta have the Gully variant to stop that stuff, man.
So yeah, so we're excited to be here, and we didn't know. Obviously, we didn't know how the playoffs were going to pan out. You know, just a couple weeks ago, NYCFC weren't even in the playoffs, and and so we were getting super nervous. And then yeah, after that, especially after that match against Atlanta, and then after against New England, NYCFC winning in penalties. I mean, you guys know exactly what that's like. You know, it wasn't as scary because Nashville couldn't even bury one. So,
yeah.
But
I've never seen that before. I've never seen an entire team miss every.
I have
penalty.
not
wild?
either. But you know, John, you know, when he had posted a video when Philly won, and he was very emotional, and then so we filmed ourselves during the penalties of that game. It was like looking at the same video. It was just it was the Dominican version of Jonathan Zapata. Okay.
Which has been said so many times.
Everybody says that. El parcero dominicano, they call me.
I'm setting trends throughout the league. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. That is awesome. No,
Philly's scared because they're only allowing 5 NYCFC fans to buy tickets.
I don't even think they're allowing all the players.
Listen, if you guys want to be comfortable, we can have a bunch of the supporters go to Citizens Bank Park, and Tati can watch on the big screen with the fans.
Tati gets to rest his legs for MLS Cup final. It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad game.
I cannot believe he's missing this game. It's what is it? Anyway, well, you know, it's frustrating, but you know, you got
Tim on that one
a little bit of an advantage.
Tim in our live stream literally predicted the beginning of it, said Tati would score, and then he said getting a second yellow was taking his shirt off.
Yeah,
we didn't
I
think
said
it'd be for
in
whatever
extra
that
time.
was.
He would take his shirt off, get a second
yellow.
yellow.
That's probably had good odds on that.
I didn't bet, and I lost a lot of money, so it's fine.
I would have taken that bet foolishly.
I would have preferred him getting the second yellow for taking off his shirt over tackling a guy when you're up inside your own half.
He's 3 yards in front of you, running away from you.
Wildly unnecessary. Anyway, what are you gonna do?
That was absolutely wild. So tell us, like, obviously, first off, congratulations, the NYCFC, recognizing the hard work you guys have been doing for the club. I mean, even for the league in general, for the sport. Man, how was that like? You know, going out there with NYCFC and being in stands.
It's gotten to the point where, like, I still remember the times where, like, there'd be a game, and I'd be like, man, it'd just be so cool to like get to either talk to the players before the game or to do this or like a cool thing happen in a game. Like, wouldn't it be cool if we were hanging out with the players afterwards and we could like joke around and riff? And now those are the kinds of ideas that we get to pitch. And, huge playoff game. I didn't get a chance to go to the one prior. So the club reached out and just thanked Christian for coming and said, hey, we hope you guys can make it to the away match for the next one. And we were both 100% down to go. And then sort of the conversation started like, well, if you're both going, why don't we do content around it? And even actually, this was probably this season when we filmed stuff, I think we broke new ground because the club is, tentative. You got playoffs. You got playoffs. You got a club. You got two comedians. You don't want them to say wild, outlandish things. And so we'll like take a couple extra takes to just riff and have a good time and be like, if you can cut something more respectful from that, use it. And I think this was the first time that they used one of our more pointed jokes. And they even gave us the outtakes to use on our social. And I think it was the reaction from that. It was similar to the first time we did that sort of the videos with Tati, Goody, and Medina, or as the Revs announcer calls him, Jesus Medina.
He did do that several times. Jesus Medina.
Oh my God!
You get Jesus right. I don't get it.
Is that like James Rodriguez? Like, is that the?
So dumb. But like when we did those videos, that was like a big moment for us because to that point, they really had never really let us interact the way we wanted to with players. It was a lot of question and answer. It wasn't like, just go have fun with them. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then riffing those jokes, even Christian's like, dude, come on. Like you can hear him in the videos, like, they're never going to use this. Was the Tony had? And they actually used it. And even when they couldn't use it, they let us use those clips for our social. So it feels like we're continuing to make headway, even in just getting a club to be like, maybe we can let them be almost 80% Cooligans.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream come true. We've been season ticket holders since day one, and the fact that we get to work with the club in any capacity is a dream. I mean, it makes it even more significant and emotional because not only are we like in the stand celebrating with everybody, but then I saw James Sands after the game, and I was like, "Yo, how you doing?" And
he was like, "Get away from me, stranger."
And he was like, "Thank you for being there," and all that stuff. And I'm like, "Yo, it's like great." I'm like, "He knows who I am. It's great."
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I mean, Alexis, come on? Do they know who they're referring to with the wildest outlet? Like, at that point, how many takes does it take for you? Just kind of they go like, "All right, can you tone it down like 10, 15%?"
I mean, they usually will tell us, okay, that was funny, but can you do it so that we can actually air it,
Right.
And I think Christian and I will always try the joke to let them know, like, hey, we got this in our tool belt. If you ever need it, let us know.
Really tried the point there, guys.
It's our sponsor deal. You're not allowed to say those things.
Yeah, when we did the video in front of Gillette Stadium that they put out the other day, once we saw it, it was like, oh, I can't, I'm surprised that they did use it just because there isn't. I would say this, like the MLS is probably one of the few leagues in the world that like allows banter officially within the clubs. Like, even right now we're in Liverpool, like there's no banter. Everybody this is serious. It's serious. It's serious life.
The only banters are like the advertisements for like the main sponsors. Like they'll joke, like the main sponsor of Liverpool will have like a bit about Everton. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And those are the sponsors. They're getting in on the joke.
But yeah, the clubs themselves don't do stuff like that. So that was like, cool to see, man. Yeah. The more we can, we all get to be a part of the, getting to decide what the American soccer culture is. And if we can help move the needle into like a place where there's more, jokes and roasting, banter back and forth.
At the same time, the Revs released a video through Taylor Twellman saying like, this is a great moment to prove how much we hate New York City. And it's like, all right, that's not banter.
What is Taylor attacking us directly?
What are we doing here?
That's just
imagine
anger,
Frank
but...
Lampard releases a video like, come on, New York City. We know how much we hate that trash town Philadelphia. We're like, buddy, land a punchline.
Where is the joke there, Frank?
Sir, this is the Wendy's.
I do have to ask, does Tati Castellanos, is he a fan of the Cooligans?
I think so. There was a moment where when we filmed with him, like he was already ready to leave, and they were like, "Well, Dottie, you said you would film these guys. They're waiting in the training, in like the practice field." And he like walks out like in Gucci sneakers, like with the chains on, the whole nine, just fully Dottied out. And yeah. And real quick, he was like, he's doing the thing like players do, like, okay, there's 2 minutes, right? We'll do this in 2 minutes. And then my driver is waiting. And it was that. And then as soon as we started riffing with him, there was a moment where he like looked over at his handler and one of the guys that works for the team, like, is this okay?
Yeah.
Like,
am I allowed to have this much fun?
How come they're not you know? And then he kind of relaxed and he was out there with us for like maybe another 10, 15 minutes, way longer than he, had originally thought he would be. So he's actually a really cool guy. I don't think I've ever met, like, I think the most surprise was how serious Jesus Medina is. Like, he's
really?
Like, yeah, he knows he's like a coach. He knows the ins and outs of every play that's happened, formations, the whole nine. And I'm like, dude, you're 20.
Yeah.
When I was 20, I would fart my hand and throw it.
So pretty.
What I did last week.
That's Alexis's super move. Some people don't know that.
No, I was just trying to let you know how serious I took.
That's his finishing.
So pretty much Christian and Alexis are invited to the mate session.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Interestingly enough, I know a lot of people, I was even seeing the tweets of like, this is the first time I saw Dottie play, and I don't like that guy. And it's interesting because like the RSL goalkeeper David Ochoa gets the villain of the league and causing all this drama, right? But I would argue that Dottie Castellanos is probably a bigger villain and gets under the skin of more teams and more players.
Villain. He's our Diego Costa for sure.
He's the Joker of Gotham.
Yeah.
You guys should call him the Joker. I think that's the perfect personality.
I mean, I feel like
Joker did not have that good of a barber.
Rodolfo Pizarro already does the Joker celebration.
Yeah,
so
that is true. That is true.
5 times he scores this season.
Well, listen, guys. We do unfortunately have to talk some soccer, some stuff on the pitch here.
Is that why we're
So look, that's no lie. I mean, Castellanos is a really good player. I like to say he's a player that I love to hate, but I would love him on my team, right? But it's a big loss for you guys. Coming into Philly, you guys know how strong, especially structurally wise, our defense is. How do you guys expect to like move around and attack without Dottie against the Union?
Look, losing the Golden Boot winner is never an easy thing for a team, especially in the middle of a playoff hunt and a massive game, biggest game in the history of the club. But I think, let's not forget just how stacked this team is. If you look at our bench, we've got Aver, who, 2 seasons ago was lighting the league up. You got Thiago, who has an incredible amount of pace, really good on the ball. You got Talis Magno, or as I like to call him, Tallest Mango.
Okay.
You might want to pull up the side of the road, take a picture of it on your way to Route 66.
Man, that quick win from Alexis. That's
He every time he comes in the game, he's electric. I think the reason you don't see him play as much is because he doesn't really maybe doesn't have a full grasp of Ronnie Dyla's system just yet. He kind of likes to do his own thing. But you have 3 electric players, one that has shown they can be electric and 2 that have shown in spurts that they can be. And look, it's a huge game. If one of those 3 guys can't step up and do even something as simple, like what's one of the things that I think Dottie Castellanos does so well that the goals often overlook is how well he can play off the shoulder of the center back and drag those guys and split those guys and get huge gaps, which as we're running and passing the ball so efficiently on first touches, all of a sudden that really can draw a player out of position. So can Thiago do that? Can Talis Magno do that? Possibly. They have the pace for it. They have the skill for it. Can Iber do that? Absolutely. Maybe not the pace, but he has the skill for it.
We have 3 Brazilians to pick from to replace Dottie. And look, from all accounts, a lot of people are saying that they think Talis Magno will be the favorite to replace Dottie in this game. Because Dottie's, I think his biggest strength is his hold-up play. I mean, he's not even that big a guy, but he's strong. He draws a lot of fouls. Again, he gets under the skin of a lot of players. Talis Magno is not the same type of player, but I think he has the same physicality, but he doesn't necessarily hold the ball up the way Dottie does. I mean, he he wasn't even brought in as like a traditional like number 9, but that's what Tati has become ever since Bear got injured. So I think the lineup is going to be the same as it was against the Revs, except obviously that replacement for Tati. If there are any other changes, I'd be very surprised.
Well, we don't know injuries either.
Right. So Tavon Gray could barely walk towards the end. Towards the end of that game, but he's 19 years old. I'm assuming he's going to be totally fine. He'll wake up the next morning and he can play another
drink and he'll be good to go.
Exactly.
Hang energy drinking, you're good to go.
I just ran another 8 miles, and all of a sudden my leg felt fine.
James Sands he did leave the game, but I've heard from the club, my sources have told me that he is fine and he will be playing. So I expect pretty much the same exact lineup.
Also, Moxie, a little bit older. He was he kind of pulled up a little bit towards the end of the match. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going into Philly at 100%, but who is at this time of year anyway?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, like Christian said, we got a lot of options, and there's also Gideon Zalalem, who had a red card and was playing well before that. So he wasn't able to go into the game last time. Maybe he comes into the game a little bit. There's a lot of options.
Very good points. Very good points. Now, I want to bring the attention to the Union guys here. Now, look, I think what I want to ask you guys, do you see us sticking with the Feliz Navidad, the Christmas tree, or will Jim kind of change up the tactics here, maybe add a little pressure with that diamond? Well, we'll start with Justin. What do you see happening here?
I think, I think you if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, the Christmas tree has worked well. It's worked well against NYCFC in the past. The biggest concern going into this game was Tati's ability. The biggest thing I think that he has is he drags the center backs. He applies pressure. When he presses, he does a good job of that. He hounds the center backs. He creates a lot of havoc. I think while there is a lot of depth on the NYCFC bench, I think that presence will be missed, and I think it's going to allow the Christmas tree formation, if Gazdag and Jamiro can play the way they've been playing, especially last week. I really think they'll be able to drive hard at the heart of the New York City defense, and the Christmas tree is working. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Feliz Navidad, stay with it. Let's roll. The Christmas tree is working. Ho ho ho, happy holidays, and let's run that to an MLS Cup.
What about you, Zach?
I think it's going to stay about the same as well. And I mean, the issue that I see that we've talked about endlessly is just our front line, which is basically just Kasper Strzybelka, who is not my favorite player in the world.
Hat trick season. Zach.
Yeah, no, it's coming. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
Do that. Just say like nothing, and then he lights it up.
Yeah.
No, well, Tim says it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah. So he'll definitely try and prove me wrong for sure, because we know he listens to the podcast. But yeah, I think that the midfield's been good defensively. They've held down the fort. The back line obviously doesn't let in any goals for the most part with Andre back there. And they just got to stay switched on because, like these guys were saying, like you have Maxi Morales, you have forwards who can come in and cause issues. And if you switch off for a second, like as we saw with Mukhtar, they just punish you. Forwards players like that with class and with talent, they will punish you. So hopefully they can stay, secure at the back, and the Christmas tree holds strong, as Christmas trees hopefully always do. And yeah, hopefully we take it from there and go to the MLS final.
Ooh, okay. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I think they're gonna do that, but it all kind of hinges on if Jamiro, Gazdag, and Kasper can actually play a little bit closer together. They've been sort of like disjointed, it almost seems like. If they could kind of connect a little bit more, play a little bit of triangles, and then have someone run off of either Kasper or have Gazdag on the ball and have Jamiro maybe go out wide on the other side a little bit, that'll kind of be the difference maker, I would think, especially if NYC is looking to kind of push their wingbacks a little bit higher, like it seems like they do sometimes in their attack. If the Union get a good counter and have those front three running with the ball, then I would say, the Christmas tree makes the most sense to start the game at least. And then you see Jim Curtin flip it at the hour mark back to the 4-4-2, bring on Sergio Santos, and hopefully his speed and directness can do something.
Like score a goal.
Maybe
one day.
I don't know.
Maybe one day.
He is a striker, so they don't really score goals for the Union. But yeah, we'll see.
Everyone else does.
I will say this, guys, the way Jim has kind of treated the playoffs like a chess match, it's been truly incredible. And I think it's going to be a good match because I think Ronnie can do the same thing with NYCFC. Obviously, like the Cooligans mentioned, it's definitely going to be tough. But if you love tactics, you love the ins and outs, the little things, soccer, I think the Eastern Conference Finals is definitely going to bring that for sure. So, look, cool. You guys know me as a proud Latino, I'm super superstitious, so we haven't been doing predictions. But what I want from you guys, what I want to know is NYCFC will win because of what?
Ooh, because they're just objectively a better team. I'm kidding.
Well, let's fight words. Come out to London, kick some cool to butt.
Look, I think obviously there's a lot of bias here, and I'll be honest, for us this is a difficult matchup emotionally because we consider Jim Curtin a friend. Mm-hmm. Jim Curtin, when I got engaged, he sent me a message and said, "Congratulations, Christian! I'm really happy for you." Okay, coach. No other coach has done that.
Not even Ronnie.
You got a good guy, all right? Coaching your team. But
I remember I posted an Instagram story where I found the largest bag of Doritos I'd ever seen, and he messaged me, "Congratulations."
At least he's consistent.
Listen, you both got blessed by the drip team.
No, he's a huge fan of ours, and he's been really supportive of ours, which has been absolutely amazing. And like we said, we consider him a friend. Like I'll text him whenever like something cool happens with sneakers and stuff. Like he's just a great guy. And I mean, I hate to be the reason.
This is the worst thing. I don't want this for him, but what are we gonna do?
Now he might not come to your wedding.
Anyway, on a pure footballing basis, I think okay. Well, there's ambulance out here. Anyway, on a pure footballing basis, I think the biggest problem that Philadelphia always has against NYCFC is possession. NYCFC always dominates the ball. I was just at the game, the last regular season match. We were down a player and still dominated that game. So that is a bit of a concern. Yes, not having Tati is going to be an issue, but I don't expect too many goals from the Philadelphia Union in this game. I think this game goes into extra time.
God, just what we need. More extra time.
This will be your third one straight. I think this is another extra time game. And this is going to be just a matter of like will and who has the legs left. My main concern, Philadelphia Union have 2 extra days rest. So I think that's going to be a big advantage.
And a lot less injuries.
But on a pure like one-to-one quality level, each player, I gotta favor NYCFC even without Tati. So I think NYCFC wins this game simply out of talent. I think they just have a little bit more talent than the Philadelphia Union do.
And I'll make my answer a lot shorter. I think it's just momentum. I've said it a million times. In MLS playoffs, it's not always talent. It's not always tactics. It's a lot of times it's momentum. Who comes into the game hotter? I think you saw with the Revs. I don't think there was a team that played as well as I'd seen the Revs be able to play all season. But you take 23 days off, you lose that. You know what I mean? It took you too long to find it before NYCFC scored, and now you were behind the ball. And they punched back, but we got the last laugh. And I think the same thing's going to happen when it comes to Philly. I think Philly's a great team. You guys are playing really well. There's just no one that has the momentum and the belief going into that game the way NYCFC does. And I think that's going to carry you through.
You heard it. All right, Tim. Union will win because.
Oof. I mean, they'll win if they can test Sean Johnson. Like that's it, right? Like if you can just keep shooting at him every once in a while, he makes a mistake. I know he hasn't in a very long time, and he looks really good in the penalty shootout. But yeah, I think if this Union attack can actually like pepper the goal, like something will happen, and someone will be able to score a tap in. Maybe it'll be a striker. The place will go crazy. You think the place went crazy when Glesnes scored? Wait till a striker scores. Like that's gonna be awesome.
Isn't that the point of the sport?
No, like yeah, of course. But I think that's the key there for the Union. It's one of their keys is to just get the shots on net and see what happens. They've had a rough go of doing that in their first 2 playoff games. So if they can do it against NYC, I don't see why they can't squeak out the win. I think it goes to extra time as well, just for the vibes. But
oh man, I don't know if I get no third.
Union pull through somehow because they're able to keep getting shots off on Sean Johnson.
Okay, what about you, Zach? Union will win because
the Union will win because the back line will not make any mistakes for the entirety of whether it's 90 or 120. No mistakes.
Wow.
That's how they're going to win. That's how they're going to win.
Is that a back line with Powell or Mbaizo?
I think Powell still starts.
Okay.
I don't think, especially against an attacking like a team as attacking and as possession oriented as NYCFC. There's no reason why you need an outside back that's going to keep bombing forward and be out of position. I think Powell's way better defensively, despite the error he made against Nashville, and I think that as long as that back line stays mistake free, the Union will win.
Okay, Justin.
Real quick, I don't want to cut Justin off, but I would say if I was a Philadelphia Union fan, my biggest concern is Alvis Powell. He looks like clearly the weakest link, so to speak, especially in the.
Say it to his face.
I would never say it to his face.
Get a stepladder and say it to his face.
So I hope he starts.
Oh man. What do you got, Justin?
The Union will win because the midfield will control the game.
Oh.
I think the Union of the 2 teams has the better defensive spine, and the Christmas tree has worked well in the past against NYCFC. And I think without Tati, I think Brujo is going to have free reign to take the little elf that could, Maxi Morales, and put him
hopefully
in
no karate chops
pocket.
though.
Put him in his little pocket and keep him there all game. I mean, listen, the midfield has been arguably one of the strongest parts of the Union. I would say even attack, because the midfielders are the only ones getting forward and they're the ones creating chances. And listen, we've all seen Ali's, those pregame huddles. Yeah. Wait, yeah. Christian and Alexis, tell Ali to his face that NYCFC is going to beat y'all, and see what that man says, because his pregame talks are scary.
Yeah. I'm ready to do anything when I watch them.
But I think the biggest thing too is, I think with Tati out, I think it's going to allow Brujo to push farther up the field, and that'll push Gazdag and Jameer up the field. And the way Gazdag has been playing, I mean, that's dangerous. I mean, he's coming into his own at the perfect time. I mean, you have a number 10 coming in right before the playoffs in that kind of form. The way he's been playing, I mean, listen, he probably should have had a brace against NYCFC. I still think it was a little bit of a weak foul on Willis for that that second goal. But Gazdag has been pushing it. He's been creating chances. His distribution has been fantastic, and he's not afraid to shoot. And at this point, we had some strikers. It'd be even more dangerous. But I think the Union midfield, even if they don't control the possession battle, which the Union are again in the bottom third of a possession because they are more of a pressing team, the midfield can limit the chances and force them to the outside. I really do, like they did with Nashville, I really do think this will go to extra time. At this point, it's going to happen. The Union's just the way it's going to happen. But them going to extra time doesn't really worry me as much, because I know you're going to keep consistency from everyone except for your strikers. But at the very least, you're going to have a consistent 9 out of 10 players.
Bing bong. All right. Well, I got one more question for
That's our thing.
He's a bing bong. I just
not
Justin,
fair.
What
Justin,
do you
by
say
the
to
way,
Joe Byron right now?
Justin, by the way, your assumption of Brujo actually like standing next to Maxi Morales is a big one. I don't know if he knows how to do that to an attacking midfielder.
I mean, listen,
Alexis has to. We ordered food, and Alexis has to go get it.
Yes,
so he's gonna say bye.
Pineapple on that pizza, baby. So real quick, we'll ask you, Christian, your thoughts on the amounts of tickets for the away supporters. You can be brutally honest.
the brutal honesty, and this is for NYCFC fans, is if you wanted more tickets, you would have played better in the regular season and been able to host the game. That's Look, thank you, Philadelphia, for even giving us 200. That's really all I could. I don't know. I don't think we have too much of a leg to stand on when it comes to this issue. Yeah, it'd be nice to have more, but it's not the biggest stadium in the world. Okay, but when I've been there, it is absolutely rocking. Especially when it's sold out, and it's going to be what's the word? Not hesitant. What am I looking for?
On edge.
What'd you say?
Hostile.
On edge.
Hostile. That's the word. It's going to be a hostile environment for NYCFC. So, no, I don't know what the complaint is about. If Philadelphia Union fans want the tickets more than NYCFC fans, then they earn the right to have them. I don't really see the issue here.
The funny thing was, it was like they even said like it literally the day. So they were kind of taking pre-orders, but really it wasn't until the game was confirmed. Tickets were sold out almost immediately.
Yeah,
like it went like that. So like Tim and I have season tickets right near each other. Like that's why we made sure like you lock in that playoff strip like that. You knew if they advanced, it's just going to increase. And, we're getting the coverage in the area. People are like desperately trying to go. Like this is the hot ticket for Sunday.
Yeah. And that's awesome. And it feels great to be a part of that. And look, and that is years of work of, Jim Curtin building the team and the owner getting the right players and everything and fans showing up. And, there's always a complaint about like, I don't want to go to Chester. And you guys deal with it all the time. You're convincing friends and family to come to the game. So when it gets to the point where families like, yo, I want to go to the game. We're like, well, you can't. We don't have any tickets left. Yeah. There's nothing you can do. No, you should have been a season ticket holder for the last 5 years, and maybe you would have an opportunity. So it's great. I'm excited. It's a shame. I wish I could be at the game, but we're gonna do like a watch party here in England and call it soccer. It's gonna be great.
I mean, Christian, when we host MLS Cup, you're gonna be here, right? Like,
I'm gonna be forced to go there. I guess.
Hi guys.
Or who knows? RSL can win. NYCFC wins. Maybe you guys are coming to a baseball stadium or watch the MLS Cup final. Okay, you're more than welcome.
Can't wait to see home runs. Awesome stuff. I listen. I just wanted to say I would have been pissed, but I would have sucked it up because, like you said, my team wasn't good enough to have the home field advantage there. So, good point there. Well, guys, that's going to do it for another episode of DOOP by the River. Really, seriously, a huge shout out to the Soccer Cooligans. We all know that they're absolutely destroying the American soccer game, putting us on the map literally as they are in England right now, spending some time. It is currently 2 a.m. right now. Am I correct?
2:03.
2:03 in the morning. So we really appreciate Christian and Alexis both coming on in here and talking some NYCFC with us. So you guys enjoy the derby there on Monday.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's exciting. A lot of stuff. It's gonna be a fun next 2 weeks. So
Alexis doing his toilet dance.
No food.
Oh, they hoaxed you.
Oh man! All right. This evening got way worse.
You about to get all Newark on them.
Yeah, you better watch those vibes. Those vibes aren't looking good for NYCFC right now.
All right, guys. Seriously, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find this episode of the podcast on PSN Radio. You can find it wherever you stream podcasts. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, you name it. Make sure you guys rate and subscribe. We would truly appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the Soccer Cooligans. That is Tim Lovinguth. That is Zach Labasso. That is Justin has a game ticket for Sunday, Friedberg. Of course, I go by the name of El Parcero Philly, and we're telling you guys to DOOP on. MLS Cup Final, baby!